Hello everyone, my name is Josh Booker and I'm going to teach you, or at least show you a little bit of rational equations. Okay, so Jim and Tom have to clean up their room as part of their chore. Jim alone can clean the room in 4 hours. If Tom works alone, it will take him 6 hours. If they work together to clean the room, will it be done in a shorter time? And the answer is yes. Because if they work together, it kind of just makes sense to be in a shorter time, so yeah. What is the rate at which Jim can clean the room? Now, how you get that is the number of rooms, or room, over number of hours, or hour, depending on how many there are. Now, if you can tell, Jim can clean the room in 4 hours, so you would do 1 room in 4 hours, so 1 over 4. And ask, what is the rate at which Tom can clean the room? And he can clean in 6 hours, so you would do 1 room in 6 hours. And ask, what is the rate at which they can clean what is the rate at which they can both clean? And you don't know that yet, so if you don't know the value, then you just put x for it. But since it's just 1 room, you put 1 over x. And it says, what is the equation? So as you would set this up, it would be, since they're together, it'd be Jim plus Tom, since they're working together, equals together, or the number at which they can finish the room. So how you would set that up, it would be 1 over 4 plus 1 over 6 equals 1 over x. So how you do this is that what can 4 and 6 both go into, and you're looking for the least common denominator, and in this case it would be 12. And since there's an x right here, you would put 12x. So then once you get that, you would multiply everything by 12x. And then you would divide, so since it will replace this one right here with 12, and you would do, what is 12 divided by 4? 12x divided by 4, and that would be, and that would be 3x, and you want to keep the x the same since 4 doesn't have an x, and you do 3x plus 12x divided by 6, which would be 2x. And since this has an x and this has an x, you cancel those, which would just equal 12. Now, you just add these two together, and then you would divide by 5, so it would be 5x equals 12. And you would divide that, and you should get x equals 2.4. And that's how long it takes for them to clean the room together. Now you should always get an answer that's lower than the lowest time. So if Jim cleans in 4 hours and him and Tom both work together, then they should get a time that is lower than that time. And if you don't get a time lower than the lowest time, then that's most likely not the right answer when it comes to one of these questions. Okay, to the next one. A car travels 300 miles from Texas to Mississippi at a speed of 80 miles per hour. On the way back, she goes 60 miles per hour. How long was the trip there and back? Now you're going to be, so it says write an expression for the time going from Texas to Mississippi. And since it's going to be, so you have your 300 miles. And from Texas to Mississippi, she went 80 miles per hour. So it would be 300 over 80. And that can be reduced to 15 over 4. So if you can, you want to reduce it because 300 over 80 would just be a bigger mess than it should after when you get to the equation and work it all out. And so then it asks write the expression for the time going from Mississippi to Texas, and that would also be, since it's going 300 miles, but when she comes back she goes 60, so it would be 300 over 60. And that can, since what's 300 divided by 60, which equals 5, and that'll be the other one. So your equation will be, so it says write an equation for the total time of the trip and then solve. So your equation would be 15 over 4 plus 5 over 1 equals, and since you don't know the last one, it'd be 300 over x. Now you look for the least common denominator, which in this case it would be 4x, and you would multiply every single one by 4x, and one more, which 15 times 4 would get you 60, and then since you would have 60 up top, you would have to divide it by 4 again, so basically you would just get 15x, and then 5 times 4x would get you 20, divided by 1, which would get you 20x, which equals, and then you do 300 times 4x, and since you have an x here, and x here, you cancel those out, and that will just get you 1200. Now when you do this, you'll combine these two together, which will get you 35. I'll just put it up in the top right corner. My bad, should have worried about space. It's kind of hard to write small. So you'd get 35 x equals 1200. Now you want to get 35 to the other side, so you're going to divide 35 by 35, which would get you x equals, now this will be a decimal when you put it in the calculator, so you just do 34.28, and that's how many hours it took from there and back. Okay, hope you like that, and hopefully I get a good grade on this.